So let me tell you about a guy named Jack. On paper, his life was perfect. He had everything society says you should want: a great job, money, tons of friends. But underneath all that, there was this invisible sadness, this quiet, nagging emptiness he just couldn't shake.
And that right there, that's the heart of it. It's this weird modern paradox, isn't it? This idea of having it all, but feeling like you have nothing at all. It's something a lot of us feel, but we don't really talk about it.
And look, this isn't just Jack's story. As we kind of unpack what he went through, you might find that it sounds, well, a little familiar. So let's dive in and figure out where this feeling actually comes from.
Okay, first up, the invisible sadness. This is all about that huge gap between what our lives look like from the outside and how they actually feel on the inside.
I mean, you look at Jack's life, and by every single measure, the guy was crushing it. He checked all the boxes. Career? Check. Financial security? Check. Social life? Totally. The only problem? It was all just an act. Inside, he felt like he was just watching someone else's life.
I love this metaphor because it's just so spot on. It's like looking at your phone. It shows a full battery, 100%, but there's no signal. You can't actually do anything with it. That was him. He was functioning, sure, but he wasn't really connected.
So how do we even get to a place like that? Well, that brings us to our next big idea, the lie of later. This is all about that trap we fall into, the belief that happiness is some kind of reward we get down the road.
This is basically the roadmap of Jack's life, and honestly, probably a lot of our lives too. When you're a student, you think, okay, I'll be happy after I graduate. Then you graduate and it's, I'll be happy after I get a good job. Then it's the promotion. Then it's more money. The goalposts just keep moving, right?
And it's all built on this one huge foundational lie, that you have to somehow earn the right to feel good. It turns your whole life into this endless exam where you're constantly trying to prove you're worthy. And because things are never perfect, you never feel like you've actually passed the test. Okay, so this is where things start to change for Jack. And it's not some big, dramatic, movie-style moment. Nope, it's something way simpler and way quieter. Let's talk about the morning silence. So one morning, he wakes up super early, totally by accident. The city is still asleep, and for the first time in who knows how long, he doesn't immediately grab his phone. He just sits there. And in that complete silence, something amazing happens. He feels peace. And this was the big epiphany. He realized he didn't add anything to find that feeling. He just removed the noise. And he realized the loudest noise wasn't the traffic or his email notifications. It was the constant, nonstop chatter inside his own head. It's like he finally understood. Happiness isn't something you have to go out and find. It's what's already there, buried under all the worry and the overthinking. It's our natural state, and it comes back the second we quiet down all that internal chaos. Okay, but that begs a pretty big question, right? If peace is our default setting, why is it so incredibly hard to just stay there? Well, that brings us to a really weird concept, our addiction to stress.
There's this thing in psychology called the familiarity bias, and it basically means our brain isn't wired to seek what feels good, it's wired to seek what feels familiar. So if you've spent years living with stress and anxiety, guess what feels familiar? Stress. It's painful, but it's home. And this is the battle going on inside of us all the time. On one side, you've got what feels good, peace, stillness, joy. But on the other, you've got what feels familiar, stress, overthinking, worry. And our brain, like a creature of habit, just keeps snapping back to the familiar stuff. Peace can feel so strange that we actually push it away without even realizing.
Jack put it perfectly. He said, "I didn't know who I was without my stress." Just think about that for a second. His entire identity was so wrapped up in the struggle, in the hustle, that when the calm came, it felt wrong. Take away the problem to solve, and who was he?
All right, so this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And this is the most important part, really. It's about taking responsibility for our own peace. It's about learning how to reclaim our inner state.
And here it is, the lightning bolt moment for Jack, the ultimate truth. No one is responsible for my happiness except me. That's it. He realized he'd been waiting for a job or a person or something to fix how he felt inside. But the power to change was his all along.
So where do you even start? Well, you start by spotting these invisible habits that are getting in the way. Things like Overthinking, treating every negative thought that pops into your head as the absolute truth. Or comparison, the fastest way to kill any joy you might be feeling. Then there's living for approval, basically outsourcing your self-worth to other people. And the big one, always chasing more, which just makes you blind to the peace you could have right now. And all this leads to a huge mental shift. Happiness isn't a destination. It's not a finish line you cross. It's a practice. It's like going to the gym for your mind. It's something you do day in and day out. It's not about chasing it. It's about allowing it.
So, we're going to end with this question for you to just sit with for a minute. If that deep sense of peace was never actually outside of you to begin with, then what are you still chasing? What's pulling you away from the feeling that's already there? Because the funny thing is, the moment you stop running, you realize you were home all along.